All right, dinner's done. I'm going to serve these guys. I'm going to go get my plate, and they can get started. So here we go. There's Matt. There's James. All right, guys.
All right.
Have at it. I'm going to go grab my plate, and then I'm going to join you.
Right on. Thank you, Roger. Yeah, it's delicious. There you go. I got you a napkin here. You're welcome. Yeah, it sure does look delicious. Roger's awesome, man. He's such a good cook. I've never been disappointed in anything. It smells amazing. Yeah, that pork came out good.
You like that?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back to Outdoor Cooking Adventures with Knynman Raj. With me, I'm Knynman. And today I am in the Santa Fe National Forest, and we are in north central New Mexico, out on one of my favorite areas. It's called Golden Mesa. And I've been coming here for 35 years. I love this spot. It's at the end of the road. I've been called an end of the roader, and that's where we are for sure. We have the whole forest to ourselves, even though it is hunting season. So it's nice and quiet, and it's time to cook up some food. Today I'm going to do a stuffed pork loin roast. And I'm going to get it ready today. We're going to get it all seasoned up. We're going to put it in the cooler and give it a chance to cure overnight, and then it'll go on the grill tomorrow, and we're going to smoke it and finish it off and have a delicious pork roast dinner up here in the wilderness. Can't ask for anything better than that. So I'm going to highlight the roast. We're going to stuff it with some spinach and some cream cheese for a little bit of moisture. But I like to highlight a product from here in New Mexico. And so I like to use New Mexico green chili. And as it is harvest time here in New Mexico, which is the perfect opportunity for me to break out some green chili, and that's what we're going to use to stuff our roast with. And I did this last week and did it the week before, run it 2 times, and it is delicious. Everyone that I've shared it with has absolutely loved it, so I want to share it with you guys. And I can't wait to get it going here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you for a second here kind of what we're going to use. It's going to be real simple. I'm going to use some Philadelphia cream cheese, and I have my homegrown New Mexico green chili, and I've already taken a picture of that, and I'll show a picture of it right now. And that's what we used. It's freshly roasted there, and after that picture I peeled it and chopped it and transferred it into this, and that's what we're going to use for our roast. And I have some fresh green spinach, and then I have a massive center cut pork loin roast, and I think this thing measured out to almost 5 pounds. So there's going to be enough there for breakfast, lunches, and dinners, and many meals after that. And then also we're going to need some string, and I have my cut string. I started off with a ball of cotton string, and I prepped the string so that when we have this thing all cut or all prepped and wrapped up, we can lay out our strings and wrap it up, and we're going to season it. So stay with me. I'm going to lay everything out, get it all ready to go, and I'm going to show you how I prepped this delicious pork roast. Don't leave. You're going to miss it if you do. Okay, I've taken our roast out of our plastic wrap, and I'm going to show you real quick how I start to feather this thing out, and then we'll speed it up a little bit so we don't take a lot of time. But I'm going to put this thing like this, and this is a 5-pounder, and I'm going to kind of start somewhere up like this. And this is one of my favorite knives, I will tell you, because it is razor sharp. And we're going to start it like this, and then we're going to pick it up and roll it a little bit and just slowly trim it back. Okay, I've trimmed this roast down into a flat roll, and I am having a heck of a time keeping the bees away from my dinner. They know what we got going here is going to be good, so we'll deal with the bees. So my next step, that we have this all laid out, and it was a rough cut. I will be the first one to admit, because there's a lot of bees bugging me. And so I'm going to take my cream cheese, and I'm going to I'm going to lay this cream cheese out on this roast, and I'm not going to be skimpy about it one bit. I'm going to put plenty out there because it'll just add to the flavor. And we're going to cover it from one end to the other. Got plenty of cream cheese, and the more I put on here, the less I have to take home in the cooler. So we're going to use it. I think the bees like it too. And James, I want to thank my buddy James for taking the time and helping me out with his expertise and filming my episode this weekend. Matt is not around. Matt's done this a lot, but I'm super excited to have my buddy James do this. And beyond that, James is a very humble guy and doesn't talk about it a whole lot, but I am fortunate to have a 3-time Emmy winner for his work behind the camera, doing work for me behind my camera, and I love it. And I thank you, James, for doing it, dude.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be a part of the team.
I appreciate having you here, man. It's great. These bees are getting really super pesky. Get out of here. Go on, get. We'll say, so we got this thing pretty much ready to go, I'm going to say. We're going to call that good. I'm going to set my knife aside. And then my next step is the center of the roll is going to be my fresh spinach. And I'm going to put my fresh spinach, and we're going to start at one end here. And we're just going to kind of just stack it right here. So we have spinach all in the center. We're going to start from this end. So come on, flies, get away. So we're going to have that like that. I think that's a pretty good layer. And then the next step is I am going to put my green chili. So I got my fresh, this is Wagner Farms, grown in the Rio Grande Valley. And of course we always feature something from New Mexico, and that's what we're doing. We're doing green chili. So I'm going to take the green chili here, and we're going to use just about all of this green chili, because it's not super hot, it's medium, and it's going to have a delicious flavor to it. Mixed in with the cream cheese. We're going to use the lid to kind of spread it around like that. Alright, this thing's going to be fun to roll up, but that's going to be the next step, is to roll this thing up, and we'll get it together. Once we get it together, we'll lay some foil out, and we'll string this baby up, and then we'll put a little bit of seasoning on it, and then she'll be ready to go. So we'll set this aside. Okay, now the fun part. I got to make sure I have some paper towels handy here because my hands will be messy. So I got my paper towels ready, and we're going to start at this end. And I'm not going to get fancy with it. I'm just going to take it and just it's a kind of a tuck and roll type of deal with this baby. And we're going to roll it. We're going to roll it like this. And then we're going to roll the other top half up like this. And that's a massive roast. Now what I got to do is it's sticking to my parchment paper, which is an issue, but we're gonna leave it set like that, and hang with me, come right back, and I'm gonna set out some foil, and I'll show you how we wrap this up and season it, and we'll finish this up until tomorrow. We're gonna put this thing in the cooler and let it season overnight, and then we'll be back tomorrow to cook it. But hang with me, I'm gonna rinse my hands and get the next thing ready. Okay, our next step in getting this roast ready for the oven tomorrow, or our grill actually, is we're going to get her ready to tie up. So I've got the foil ready here, just so I don't make a mess on the table. And I'm laying out my string, and I may or may not use them all. It just depends on how easy they are to tie, but I'm going to make sure and have plenty laid out. Better to have more, and then if you don't need them, you can pull them off to the side. So my next step is I'm going to put this roast on here. And I have it over here. I'll carry it over to our table. I love my new outdoor cooking kitchen. I got a kitchen in the wilderness that I can actually cook on and make it look like I know what I'm doing. So there's our roast, and the bees are just all over us. So then my next step is I have it on my cutting board, and I'm going to slide it off onto our foil here, and then we'll wrap this baby up. This is going to be so good. My mouth is already watering. All right, voila, there we go. We got our roast transferred without dropping it in the dirt, which I was hoping would not happen. But if it had, it wouldn't be the first time I dropped dinner in the dirt. You just kind of recover, drop it off the best, knock it off the best you can. So then my next step is I'm going to take these strings that I have, these cotton strings, and I'm going to just tie them off with a simple square knot. Simple square knot, tie it off just like that. Okay, I'm finishing up this last string here. They've been dodging the bees, as you can tell. They're getting quite annoying. They're almost like getting drunk off of this. I don't know what's going on with it. All right, so we're going to cut these. We're going to cut all these ends off because we don't want to start a fire on the grill because they will definitely burn. We don't want that. We're going to cut all these off. And this looks really good. I'm excited. I'm excited to get this on the grill tomorrow and show you guys how this turns out. Oh, that one didn't get tied. And then share this with my buddy James and Matt. Matt's on his way up now, so we'll be able to share it with him. And looking forward to doing that for sure. Okay, we got that all out of the way. Okay, well, my next step is I like to put a good rub on it. And but before I put a rub on it, I'm going to put a little bit of hickory smoked honey sea salt. And I always use this. And I'll add a little bit of this to it first before I put the rub on it. I love that sweetness of the honey. And then I like a brown sugar rub. And this is Weber, and I'm not advertising anything for Weber, but I do use them occasionally, not all the time. But I like the brown sugar, and so that's why I use it. I like sweet with my pork, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a nice helping on there. Get this ready to go. We'll see how the bees like this after this, huh? So we're going to put it on. I'm going to keep one hand free. At least keep one hand clean, and I'm going to rub it in. Make sure it's all nice and set in the grains of the meat. And we're going to roll it. And we're just going to do this all the way around. We're going to do this all the way around. And some of the green chili is falling out, which is okay because I actually added more than I really needed and to compensate for that, whatever might fall out. So we're going to get this done like this. And I think we're looking pretty good. And what do you think, James?
Definitely. It already smells amazing, and you haven't even started cooking yet.
Okay. Well, I think that that completes this part of Outdoor Cooking Adventures. We're going to wrap this thing up in foil. We're going to put it in the cooler. And then tomorrow afternoon, about 2 o'clock, I'll probably take it out of the cooler, let it come to ambient outdoor temperature. And then we're going to put it on the smoker, this grill, and we'll have a smoke box, and we're going to cook it on the grill for about an hour on very low heat. And then once it's got a nice crisp on the outside, we'll put it in foil. We'll put it back on for about another hour, and then we'll pull that baby off and cut into it, and we'll look and see how really good it is. It's delicious. So stay with us, and I'm going to go have a beer. Let's go have a beer, James.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for watching. Okay, we are back on day 2 of our outdoor cooking adventures, and we wanted to let this roast set overnight on some ice and just kind of marinate in its own juices and the rub that we had and kind of cure in the rub. And I like to do that at least 24 hours ahead of grill time. That's just a preference for me. Some people like it longer. Some people don't wait at all and just use it like it is. Whatever your preference is, you're good to go. So the first thing I want to talk about is I've got my grill going, and it's been heating up for about 30 minutes. And it's on medium now. I'm going to turn it down, but I have a smoke box here that I have put hickory chips, and I smoked the hickory chips for soaked the hickory chips, for about 30 minutes before I put them in our smoke box. Now the smoke box has been on our grill for about 10 minutes, so it's going to start smoking here real quick, and we're going to put our roast on. And so what I'm going to do is put the roast on next. Now I have the roast here. It's a big one. It's almost 5 pounds, and I stuffed it. If you saw a little bit earlier, it's got spinach, cream cheese, and New Mexico green chile. Look at that. And all right, so I'm going to get this thing. I'm going to have to be a magician when I do this, because I'm going to have to hold the grill because it's going to be a little heavy. So I'm going to set it right in the middle, just like that. And there we go, voila. And this end's not going to get singed because there's no flame there, but this box is going to keep our roast from having direct heat and keep it from burning. So we're going to put it on here and let it smoke for probably an hour. We're going to turn it probably 2 or 3 times to make sure it's cooked evenly all the way around. And then after about an hour, I'm going to pull it off, wrap it in foil, and then put it back on the grill for another hour to finish, because it's a thick chunk of meat and it's going to take a little bit of extra time. So that's the deal with this. We're going to, man, I can already smell it. It smells so good. I'm so looking forward to this. So my next step is I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be making some baked beans, and I'm going to use Bush's baked beans, and I'm going to add my own twist to it. So I'm going to prep that, and we'll be back in a couple minutes and show you how I do that. Okay, it's been about a half an hour since we first put our roast on. I just turned it completely 180 degrees. It's looking sweet and smelling good. This hickory smoke is really kicking in, and you can really smell it. So that's going good. So we're going to move on to our next step, and I'm going to make some simple baked beans. And I don't go all out making my baked beans. I like to start out with Bush's Best Originals. And to me, they're the best ones to doctor up because it gives you a basic palette to work with. So that's what we're using. I'm not going to get super fancy, but I'm going to add probably a tablespoon of butter into our beans, and go ahead and put it in a stew pot, saucepan, and we're going to put a tablespoon of butter. And I also, while we were away, I cooked some bacon and sauteed some onions in the bacon, so we're going to add our own bacon and onions to this deal, and that's going to really liven it up along with the butter. And I got one more item to add to it, and if you know me, I like to cook sweet, and we can't have baked beans without adding some brown sugar. And I got 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Usually 2 tablespoons of brown sugar for 1 tablespoon of butter works for me, and that's what I always use. So we're going to take the brown sugar, yeehaw, we're going to put it in our pot with everything else, and we're going to give it a little bit of stir. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to turn this thing on low, because our roast won't be ready for an hour and a half. So we are no hurry here. We're going to let all the flavors soak in there, and man, that's going to be some delicious baked beans. So that's the way I do it. We're going to let these things simmer on low for probably about an hour, and we're going to turn this roast another time here, and then in 30 minutes we're going to probably open it up and we'll wrap it in foil, and then we'll put it on for its final hour. So we'll be back in a half an hour. We'll show you what the beans look like, and then we'll show you what the roast looks like as we wrap it up. Okay, as you can see, our beans are slowly simmering, and that's exactly what we want. We want that brown sugar and butter and everything to mix in and make some beautiful sweet sauce, which is what I love. So over here on the grill, now I have the pork roast, and it's been on an hour. And so we're ready to pull this thing off, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's looking really good. It's been smoking with hickory smoke wood, and there we go. Look at that, baby. Holy mackerel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this over to the aluminum foil and show you how we wrap it up, but we'll be right back. I'm going to get this thing off the grill, and we'll show you what we do next. Right on. Okay, I've got this roast off the grill, and it looks tremendous. We still have an hour to go, but there you go. Take a good look at it, and man, it is just full of goodies. So my next step on this deal is we still need to cook it another hour, because we still got to cook the inside. And because it is such a thick roast, we got to spend a little bit of time. And we're going to wrap it we're going to wrap it just like that in foil. And I'm going to fold the ends over, and you know how to wrap in foil, so I don't need to explain to you how we do this. So we're going to put this in foil, and we're going to wrap it up, and I'm going to put it back on the grill, and then we'll be back in another hour as we unwrap this. Now we'll turn it a couple of times to make sure it cooks evenly, but we'll be back in an hour and show you what it looks like, and then our beans will be ready at that point too. Stay with us. Okay, we have reached our 4 o'clock hour, which is going to be time for me to pull this roast out. Now it's been wrapped for an hour under a low heat and just finishing off. And that was the whole idea of it. And you might be wondering why I'm under a canopy. We have been having rain for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. It's been off and on rain. So here we can cook in comfort and make sure all the food comes out good. Last cooking adventure, rain played an issue, and I was not going to let that happen this time. So at this point, we're ready to pull this roast off the grill, and it's been on here for an hour, and she is plenty hot, as you can see. So I'm going to put on some gloves, and we're going to pull this thing off, and we're leaking juices, but that's okay. We're going to put it down here on our cutting board, and this thing is blazing hot, so we're going to let it rest for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then we're going to come back and we're going to cut into it and show you what kind of deliciousness we have here in this stuffed pork loin roast. Right on, stay with us. Okay, well, we've waited about 15 minutes or so, and we've given our roast a chance to rest, and that's the whole idea. We want all the juices to reabsorb, and that's the whole idea behind resting. And so I'm going to open this thing up, and we're going to take a look at it. I'm going to cut some slices off. And man, we've been standing around smelling this, and it's just been driving us all crazy. Oh, I can smell it, and there's a lot of oils and greases and flavors and juices and everything. And so this is what we're looking at here, folks. All right, now look at that. That looks simply tremendous. Now some of this darker pieces here is okay. It's going to be a bark, and if you don't like it, you can cut it off, and you need to control your heat a little bit better than I did. But also, I want to say that cooking at 8,100 feet is a challenge compared to cooking in other altitudes. So that's what we have to deal with as well. Not making excuses, I'm just saying. So let's cut into this thing, and I'm going to cut into it right here. And we'll take a look and see what this looks like. Look at all the juices there. Man. Look at that. Alright, this is something you're going to want to try. And look at the... There we go. Look at that. We got the spinach in the middle. And then the outside has the green chili. And you can see all the cream cheese in there. And I think it looks excellent. What do you think, James?
If I could give it 2 thumbs up, I would, but I'm operating camera. I got to tell you, folks, so it looks amazing and it smells even better.
It does. It looks good. Okay, so give me a minute here, and we're going to cut it up and serve it out, and we'll see what these guys think, actually. And I know it's going to be delicious, so I'm going to be a little biased on that deal. But we're going to serve it up, and we'll show you what it looks like. Hang with us. Okay, so what I did today was a stuffed pork loin roast with green chili from New Mexico. Obviously, I always use a product from New Mexico, and I used cream cheese and some spinach in the middle. Put a nice rub on the outside, let it set for 24 hours, cooked it over the grill for an hour, boiled for another hour. This is what we got. So, what do you think, guys? Like that?
We're speechless. We're so good.
They're not saying anything. Their mouths are full, so I guess they're liking it. So I like it too, and I didn't have to try it because I know what it is, and I've had a piece earlier when I was cutting these guys' food. And so I want to say thank you for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If not, please do that, and then subscribe. Okay, we're going to start over. Do this again. Please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. And any comments or questions, please leave them down below. And yes, I've had a few cocktails and it's dinner time. Thank you for watching.